Hello, hello, chat. Welcome to the Legend Seeker AMA. I am aware that my cam is currently acting like a freak. So give me a second here. It never does this, but of course, right now it does. Let's see. Give me 1 second, chat. I have an idea. All right, chat, we're going to see if that works a little bit better. Switch to direct feed from my webcam instead of going through video. Looks like it freed it up a little bit. I don't know what the hell was just happening with video. That was really weird. But hello, welcome to the Legend Seeker AMA. It is I, Erudi. Hello, hello. Most of y'all who are here know who I am. I am the kindest, most benevolent, generous Dungeon Master on this side of the internet, which is the dark side. Hi. Oh, I see we got the Queen shirts out there. Hello, Chrysanth. Hello, Michaela. Pretty sure I saw Lynn out there too. Do we got Xbox out there? I don't know if I caught Xbox. Then we got, hey, what's going on, James? Oh, we got JT. You know something was going to retarded if is going to go on today if he's here. V Real, what's going on? Keeping it real with you. I see some of you over in Kick too. Hi. Sketchosaurus Rex. Yes, I answer to the Fed. We're so well past that point now. I can't escape it. So I embrace it. I am the Fed. Warlock, good to see you, my friend. Glad you are here. I miss seeing you over in Gilded, my friend. Let's see. Green Apple. Howdy, Green Apple. I see you. And no, I didn't respond to the wrong chat. I have 2 YouTubes running. That's right. You might be watching me on Geeks Gamers Tabletop right now. Or maybe you're watching me dual stream over on Moonskull, our co-owned channel between Sevi and I. It's our personal project where you can find things related to the paranormal, the horror, sci-fi, and the unexplained. And also, it's our personal channel, and this is my personal project, so I wanted to be able to air this on both. My point was, I'm using Restream, and when I type into the Restream chat, it automatically posts my answer to both chats. So I might answer somebody else's question there, and it goes to both places, and I'm going to look retarded. Can't help it. But hi, glad to see you guys there. I can't imagine why that would mess with a camera. I don't know. I could not tell you. I might have all 3 chats at the same time. That would be pretty. Oh wait, is Lynn Green messing with me now? Dual posting in both. I see what you're doing. Hi. I see. Yep. Oh, perfect. Nope. No. You are the retarded one, JT. Jerry Harris. I do kill your characters with a smile. Not because I enjoy it, but because I know that we have completed a story together, and now you're going to get to build a whole new one with a brand new character. It has nothing to do with taking any perverse joys in the dooms of your characters. Not whatsoever. Hi, James. Hi, Immortal Mike. Hi, Kaio. I said X-Boys. Well, what did I say wrong? I didn't say F-Boy. Did I say F-Boy? I didn't say that. I said X-Boy. I think you guys just misunderstood me. Hi, Sevs. I see you out there, too. Tech Talk with a rude eye. No Tech Talk today. Well, not on purpose anyways. If my shit breaks, you might hear some cursing followed by some Tech Talk. No, we're going to be talking about Legend Seeker. And before we hop into that, though, before I discuss what Legend Seeker is, maybe you don't even know. Maybe this is your first time hearing the name. I'd be surprised. But maybe you've never heard it before. I'll be happy to tell you all about it. But I did want to point out, if you look down below me, right about here, and which way? This way. Right there. There's a little bar and a little tip jar. There is a link pinned in the tabletop comment, and if you're in the Moonskull one, it's probably spamming from Streamlabs every few seconds anyways. It's a Streamlabs link. If you happen to donate there, that is going towards me cosplaying as Kermit the Frog. You guys have asked for this for a long time. I've been very adverse to it. I don't want to cosplay as Kermit the Frog. I don't. But you guys want me to, and I would like to entertain. Plus, Sevi is making me go through with it. So, if you would like to see me in a Kermit the Frog outfit, Chrysanth has sent me many examples of what that might look like. And let me tell you, they're all awful. So if you want... Okay, it was a nickname. I called him Xbox as a nickname. I know he's X-Boy. Did I say Xbox? I don't know. It was a fucking nickname. That's what I'm going to go with. But yeah, that bar down there, we're trying to fill that up. If it gets to 1,000, I'll be Kermit the Frog. So if you would like Kermit the Fed to be at MegaCon walking around with Sevi, and you want to see me be miserable for at least one MegaCon day in a Kermit outfit, this is your chance. If you happen to be there, you'll get to take a picture with me maybe in my Kermit outfit and keep it forever to hang over my head, because I know that's what you chat bastards like to do. I know it's X-Boys. God damn it, Sevs. I know who he is. I helped. You have final say on the mods, but I did give my opinion on him. I read his application. I know who he is. God, you guys are the worst. This Sevi woman seems to have an undue influence on you for some reason. Well, Jerry, when she sends a Zozo demon to your workplace and then promises it could happen again, you tend to fall in line pretty quickly. I just realized why I'm not subbed, because this is Moonskull, not GG Tabletop. Yeah, please sub to both. Moonskull is, as I said, our co-owned channel over there, and we've got a lot of cool things going over there, including some exclusive tabletop games. You're going to have Call of Cthulhu over there, and we have the Star Wars actual play coming up as well, hosted by yours truly. So, if you want to see it, that is another place you can be. But we are here today to talk about Legend Seeker. What is Legend Seeker? Well, first, to understand Legend Seeker, you have to understand why the channel exists, right? Why did tabletop even come to be? Why did I go to Jeremy? Why did I say, hey, let me do this for you, boss man? Because our space, our tabletop space, has been infested by activist rot, and it has been slowly tearing our hobby apart piece by piece for so very long. And people want answers. They don't have a lot of places, or they didn't at least, that they could go. If you tried to speak up in those communities, you got ostracized. If you were a creator, you'd get canceled. Maybe even worse, you get canceled and harassed into an actual, like, suicide watch, which is what happened to one creator I knew. They doxed his family so hard. It was a dangerous thing to be against the grain and voice your concerns and what have you, if you wanted to be a part of the community at all. And I was tired of that. I wanted to build something where we didn't answer to somebody who could cancel us. Jeremy would never cancel us for our points of view, and I wanted to show people guilt-free gaming, the ability to play the game the way you want to play, when you want to play it, who you want to play it with what rules you want to play it with, what lore you want to play it with, and nobody can tell you any different. And if they do, flip them off. What are they going to do? Cancel you? No, they can't. And that is why we have created this space, because tabletop, unlike any other medium in our pop culture stratosphere, tabletop is the one area where we still have control, even when they own the IP. You can't do that with comics, okay? If I go out and try to make my own Spider-Man comic book, I'm going to get sued. Can't do that with Star Wars. If I make my own Star Wars movie, I'm going to get sued. And it's going to get pulled from the internet. Nobody will ever damn see it. But tabletop, they can make all the woke lore they want. They can say that orcs are fairies, and they can say that, what other stupid shit have they come up with? That witches are somehow racist, and all this other bullshit that they try to put into the games, taking half-elves out of the game, because that's also somehow racist, and also monsters can't be evil anymore. They always have to be on a spectrum of goody-goody two-shoe to diabolically evil. Diabolically evil, frowned upon. They can make all those rules they want, but the books are in our possession. We run our tables. We call the shots when we tell our stories. We determine what our players experience and what kind of journeys and lore they're going to experience, and there is nothing they can do about it. That is what I wanted to teach and show through this channel. That is what I wanted people to be able to embrace. I wanted them to be able to come here and know that they can play any way they want. If you want to play with combat wheelchairs, I think they're stupid, but you can, and I'm not going to bother you about it. If I don't want to play with them, you shouldn't bother me about it. You know what? Here, nobody gets canceled for either of those opinions. You just play, and we game, and we argue like nerds do, because nerds have argued since the dawn of time, and they were always able to do so without destroying each other or destroying their families or their work lives or anything else. Still, it doesn't change the fact that the IPs that we love no longer are in caring custodians' hands. We're not going to get any more expansion on the style of lore that we have grown up loving and knowing, embracing, and building for them. So what do? Well, out there in all of the other media spheres, comic books, movies, entertainment, the Iron Age has come to be. The Rippaverse, Comicsgate, Epic Verse, all right? All sorts of different people have stepped up to the plate to produce our own entertainment, our own IPs. And Legend Seeker is my Iron Age answer to what the others are doing. I am creating a tabletop role-playing game where it brings it back to what we knew. Evil monsters can just be evil monsters, all right? If you create an orc and it's literally pulled out of the calf of a demon lord and he creates an army of them to go raise and pillage the world, we don't have to pretend that they have an ounce of good in their soul. They're ravenous monster demon orcs, okay? We're not worried about all of the isms. I'm not trying to pigeonhole a bunch of checklists to determine if we got the right amount of white people, black people, brown people, elves, goblins. I'm not trying to find out if they represent real-world cultures, and I don't give a damn, to be quite frank, if they do. If somebody is insulted by the way we design our goblins, well, they can go find something else to play and be happy. We're going to play our games and design our games the way we want to. So Legend Seeker is the answer to that. Also, to bring it back a little bit from how mainstreamed and streamlined and almost simplified D&D in particular, and even now Pathfinder and such are going, to bring back some of that modular and more in-depth veteran play as well. So making it accessible to people who are new to the game and can jump into it the same way they would like 5th edition or something like that. But also somebody who's been playing a while can then break it down more and say, okay, I know how to play now. I can really start messing with things and breaking this down and seeing what I can do. Yeah, the Druid was another one that they were thinking about axing. Yeah, And Sevi is absolutely 100% correct. Wizards of the Coast is going to the dogs. And now you guys know I've had some fiery takes on this in the past. I personally don't think one way or another what people do opening and closing their wallets will ever actually affect Wizards of the Coast. They're going to either slowly die out because their product sucks, or the normies are just going to carry them through with a very bland vanilla product for the rest of eternity. I don't think boycotting or anything like that's going to help. So if you enjoy something like this, by the way, guys, check this out. I got this for Christmas from Sevs. Oh no, I don't think you can see it. This little Tiamat Funko Pop, pretty fucking cool. You know what? I think it's awesome. Do I care that Wizard of the Coast may have got like 20 cents from that? Not really. It's not going to make or break them, and it's not going to make or break me. So I always tell people, play what you want, enjoy what you want. If you like what Wizards of the Coast is putting out, great. I don't think that they're putting out quality anymore, and we need answers. So that is what Legend Seeker is here to do. Legend Seeker is going to be a D20 based system. It will feel familiar stepping into it. You're going to recognize a lot of the same core statistics and ideas with some new integrations and maybe even some harkening back to older editions and things that you might remember. Things like, instead of having 1 defense score, having 3. Things like being able to, rather than just strictly multi-class and do this weird bland thing where you create the most random shit out of nothing, you actually put them together for a reason, because you're building towards a prestige class, or an advanced class, as we are calling them. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's also a lot of other things that we are hoping to achieve with Legend Seeker that we think other systems have not done so well on. 5e in particular has done, I think, an abysmal job of representing monsters and creatures. Every monster is just basically a blob of stats that maybe has a higher strength or a higher dex. Their hit points vary, and then they have maybe 1 casual ability thrown on there. And the monsters don't get very interesting until you're already in the second half of your level progression of 10 and up, and by then most campaigns have ended. I want monsters to feel like what they are without as much worrying about the strict balancing nature of it. I want the monsters to feel like monsters. When an ogre walks into a room and you fight it, I want it to feel like you're fighting a massive fucking ogre. And what does that look like? It's not just, hey, I got a bunch of HP and when I hit you, it hurts. No, it's an ogre. When it sweeps its club out there, it should be like thwacking 3 people at once. It's a massive fucking monster. When you kill it, if there's somebody nearby it and it falls backwards, that should be a danger that you need to dive out of the way of. If you try to entangle a massive creature like an ogre, it should have an easier time walking through that. Maybe it doesn't actually entangle them. Maybe it's just difficult terrain for them. That is the sort of stuff I imagine when I think about monster creation, and I want to bring that to Legend Seeker. Yes, 5th edition dragons are weak as shit. I mean, look, compared to the other monsters, they're still superior, but looking back at older editions and what dragons used to be able to do, yeah, 5th edition dragons are fucking terrible. But that is the general concept, all right? Legend Seeker is my project that I am doing. And right now, the plan is to have a 3-book core set. Core set, for those of you who are going to try to say I said core set. With the vague possibility of combining 2 of those books, but right now it's looking like a 3-book core set. Similar to what you would expect, there will be a core rules book that is suitable for both the what we are calling the Legend Keeper. That is our version of a DM or a GM, and also the Legend Seekers, or just the Seekers. Those are the players. Can both use this core book. It's a bit of a player's guide, but it contains all the rules that you actually need to play the game. There will be, of course, a Keeper's Tome, which will have a bunch of expanded rules and additional rules that you don't have to play, but add a lot of depth to the game and also flesh out the setting and some of the more complicated things that you might run across. And then, of course, there will be a bestiary that'll have all sorts of diabolical monsters that won't feel so lame. Dragons are scary. Cross-dressing unnerves me. Well, I can't say that I have any intentions of putting any cross-dressing in Legend Seeker, Jerry, so I think you'll be fine. No, I don't want a corset, Sevi. God damn it. I swear to God. If you like to, okay. So today we're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna let you guys ask some questions. I'll answer what I can. I can't answer everything. And some things I might only be able to answer vaguely, but I'm going to answer as much as I can and give you guys some details about the system and what have you. I'm also going to show off some artwork to you. I've got a few selections, some you may have seen before, but I'm going to show you here again with more clarity and a more prepared stream that was actually designed to show off this artwork. And I'm going to show you some new things that I haven't yet. At least a couple monsters, some minor ones that you'll be able to check out and just get an idea of some of the art that we have coming your way. And you're going to get a glimpse of the cover. That's right, the first cover is underway, which is going to bring me to an interesting topic here in just a moment. But so you get to see the first draft of the cover with the logo on it, and get an idea of what you might be in store for. So two things I do want to mention before we start getting into the actual questions. The first one is, if you would like to help support this endeavor, the best way you can do so, in the way that is most crucial and really just helps the most, it really is going to help drive this project home. If you join our Guilded, it's just like Discord if you're not familiar with it. The link is in the description, and I'm sure the mods can drop a link as well. Chrysanth is already on it. We have a lot of fun there. There's all sorts of channels for all sorts of tabletop stuff if you want to chat that, but there's also channels for other things, music, fitness. We've also got movies and things like that, but there's a lot of tabletop channels. There's chats specifically for talking about our live streams here and whatnot. But the thing that I really want to talk about right now is there is a membership tier there that goes directly towards supporting Legend Seeker specifically, and more so than anything, helping us get the artwork done, because that is the biggest bottleneck we have, is the artwork. It's costly, it takes time, and all of those factors require money. So your support goes a very long way. In exchange, you do get some perks. You get to see some previews of things. I've already dropped some lore about the setting. The deities have been dropped there. And then also we dropped the lore on some of the classes. So if you're interested in checking out the class descriptions as they currently stood when I put them there, they may have changed a little bit since then, but for the time being, that's what they are. Depending on what tier you are, you're going to get to do more stuff. Copper, you're mostly going to get access to the chat and the announcement section. If you go to the silver tier, you get access to that lore. And if you're gold, you're going to get access to the classes that I had mentioned. In reverse order, everything kind of funnels through gold. So gold gets first access to basically everything. They're going to get to read the lore first, the classes first. When the play test finally comes to be, gold will be the first one to get to do the play test. They'll get to try it out, give us our feedback. We'll take your feedback, we'll make changes, and then we're going to drop it down to silver. Silver's going to do the same thing with gold together. You can look at the changes I made, give more feedback, and what have you. So gold is really the place to be. You get to see the artwork. You get to make a lot of, including today, there's going to be a vote that I'm going to be opening up in the Golded section on which version of the cover and logo you like better. And that is going to be a change that you facilitate through voting and making a decision with us. So you'll even have creative opportunities. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so if you do go through there, you also get some other benefits too. You can do things like, if you guys watch our shows, you can participate in the shows by sending benefits to the players that help them survive. If you're silver tier, you get every month you get one to send to somebody basically for free, a player of your choice. If you're gold, you get to pick an entire cast you get to send benefits to. You also get Pokemon card packs. And you get access to the Secrets and Lies channels, which is basically during the streams, me and the cast, we have conversations with each other that are private only in there. And so it's like, for example, Sevi, right? I could be chatting to Sevi about her character, and I could be saying, my queen hears the whispers of... God damn it, Sevi. Wheelchairs for everyone. You get a wheelchair. I'm going to give your character a wheelchair. So I might say you hear the whispers from the spirits, and they tell you that Jan is possessed or something. And it's something only me and her discussing, and nobody else can see but the people who have access to the Secrets and Lies subscription. So the memberships are really cool, and they help a lot. You get a lot of benefits out of them, and it really helps this project. The second thing is, when I set out to do this, and I initially announced it, I knew it was going to be a lot of work. But even knowing that I knew it was going to be a lot of work, I still failed to understand how much work it was going to be. Constant setbacks, changes, things that you realize as you get partway through a process and you have to go back and change. And also, life circumstances happen, not just for me, but for outside people as well. So things happen, and you have to kind of roll with the punches, if you will. And sometimes it slows things down. I tried to get things done at certain times, and it hasn't always worked out the way I wanted. And for the most part, all of the things that I set out to do are still in place. Small things have changed. You might remember at the outset that I was really set on Justin Gerard for doing the cover art. And he was willing to do it. He agreed to do it and had it all scheduled up. But then Mr. Gerard had a house fire. And that really screwed things up for him. That put him several months behind on multiple projects. And that really just put him off the radar for us to have anytime soon. So I ended up having to do something else. And I have a great artist, and we're going to show you work that she's done. An open eye with the words sneak peek. What is she talking about right now? Will there be a quick start? Okay. All right, I'm going to try something here, and I really should have discussed this with you beforehand, mods. Could you, as questions get asked in chat, in Gilded, in the shared one between, shit, I should probably open one for all four of us, huh? I'll just do that real quick. Could you drop questions there so I don't have to scroll up for them and get behind in chat like I normally do? You guys know what happens when I get left behind in chat. It's never good. Direct messages. Let's see. We'll get Chrysanth. Oh my god. Why are there... Never mind. Can you open a four-way DM, Chrysanth? And then we can work on it there. But, all right. So, I think without further ado, let's start asking some questions. I'll see if she can figure out how to get that going. Yeah, me and the mods are going to have a four-way. You heard it here first. All right, let's see. I'm going to scroll up just a little bit because I know I saw a few already. Okay. Oh my god. I just fucking passed it. I swear to god I saw it. Corset dragon. We'll see about a corset dragon. We'll see what I can do. How many classes in the core? How many types of spell casting? Well, that's a good question. Let me... I know. They're yelling at me in the four-way chat. Sorry. I should have thought of that before. You can yell at me. It's fine. Oh, you want to join in, Sevs? Hold on. I'll DM you. All right. I'm going to move this over here so I can keep an eye on it. All right. So you guys are asking about the systems and the classes. So right now, I've got a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes currently. A lot of them are going to sound somewhat familiar. 2 of them might be a little strange, but that's okay. So there is the Barbarian. Obviously, gotta have barbarians. There's going to be a druid, a cleric, a warrior, a ranger, and a paladin. And there's going to be 2 that are slightly different than what you might see. The first is it's a monk class, but we call it a Saren monk. And it's a little bit different than your traditional monk. It's not just a martial arts, master your body kind of person. They have their own psionic abilities and things that they can tap into. So they're more than just, hey, we've got martial arts. And then there is also the noble class. So this is going to be sort of a class that is almost built solely for support and buffing and debuffing and taking command and guiding the party through difficult situations, both in and out of combat, while still having a strong effect on combat. So those are the 8 classes that we currently have planned. I could read some of the flavor text for one, give you a little preview of what waits for you if you happen to join on Gilded. What do you think? I could read The Noble to you. Boop. This is a homemade system based on D20, so it's going to feel familiar. It's going to be D20 based with, strength decks and things. It's going to feel very familiar to something like Pathfinder or D&D, but it's going to be our own build of it. Does the game have an implied setting or an explicit setting? It has a default setting. However, it's optional. You can homebrew your own setting if you want. But the mechanics of the system actually tie into the setting a little bit, so you can turn those mechanics off should you choose to run in a different setting. All right, I'll read to you the Noble class, since it's a little bit unique, and it'll give you an example of what you might expect from the Noble class. And then I'm going to see what they're yelling at me about over in the four-way chat. The Noble. A regal human woman traveling with her entourage encounters a dutiful gate guard who blocks their path. With a calm gesture and the glint of her signet ring catching in the sunlight, she invokes the authority of her noble lineage. The guard, subdued by her presence, swiftly grants them passage, fearing the repercussions of delaying such an esteemed noble. Amidst a tense standoff, a wise and stone-willed dwarven merchant assesses the situation. Realizing the outnumbered thugs of the guildmaster they were sent to confront, he seizes the opportunity for a peaceful resolution. With a commanding voice, he demands their surrender, assuring them a safe departure. The thugs, facing insurmountable odds, relinquish their weapons, swayed by the persuasive tactics of the noble dwarf. Surrounded by an encroaching horde of the undead, an audacious elven revolutionary steps forward, firing a wild crossbow shot at the necromancer commanding the army of darkness. The bolt finds its mark, knocking the dark wizard off his perch and causing a ripple of uncertainty among the mindless undead. Capitalizing on this momentary disruption, the elven noble rallies his allies with an inspiring cry, invigorating their spirits and emboldening them to break through the ranks of the undead. Born into power, nobles possess an innate ability to wield their status and influence acquired through natural charisma and cunning intellect. Their origins span a wide spectrum, from royal bloodlines to successful merchants or even leaders of criminal enterprises. Some nobles embrace their titles and use them to inspire courage and virtue in others, while others manipulate and exploit their positions for personal gain. Regardless of their motivations, the nobles' silver tongue and reputation shape their interactions, commanding respect or instilling fear. The power of reputation. Nobles find themselves thrust into remarkable circumstances due to their ability to attract allies and enemies alike. Whether it's their unwavering belief in a resonating cause or the weight of their noble name, troubles seem to gravitate towards them wherever they go. The nobles' astute navigation of these challenges is fueled by their commitment to a specific ideal or agenda. They adeptly utilize their background and reputation to overcome obstacles, be it rallying allies or manipulating circumstances to their advantage. A noble term seeker could be a runaway princess seeking freedom, a major domo orchestrating the plans of a crime lord, or a wealthy merchant driven by wanderlust. Regardless of their origin, the nobles' resourcefulness and strategic thinking become indispensable assets to guide their allies through both the battlefield and the intricacies of social life. In the realm of power or influence, nobles occupy a unique position, harnessing their innate charisma and reputation to shape destinies. Their ability to inspire loyalty, wield authority, and navigate treacherous waters makes them formidable figures in the ever-changing tapestry of politics and society. So that is the noble class description. Oh, God. Craigslist girls? Really? Wow. Orman says, any new original player races? Yes. In fact, if you... Well, I could probably talk about them. I'll go look at the lore section in a minute. I'll talk about them in just a few. But yeah, there are a few. One of them is featured prominently in the history and the lore and for the gods that we put over in Gilded. All right, so let me see what they've got for me over in this chat. All right. I'll donate to Legend Seeker right now if it allows mixed races and genocide. It allows for both. It's your game. Do what you want. There is going to be a system for being able to crossbreed the different races in the book. And, I mean, look, you saw genocide happen in Frost Maiden, and that was a 5th edition system. You really think you can't do genocide in this system? That's at your table, man, and what you want to do. The system doesn't stop you from doing that. Only you can. Whoops. Let's see. Tentacle Father says, I'm curious as to the lore and the mechanics specifically. Well, the lore is a bit involved. It's probably too much to go in on this one stream. But you can get access to the lore for the silver tier pretty quickly, and that's the middle tier. It's like $20, so that one's not terribly high reach. And you can read about kind of the history of what sets up the land and the gods and why everything is the way it is. And you can learn about the different deities and their motivations and that sort of thing. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to show you one of those deities here very shortly. In fact, you know what? We could just do it right now. Why not? Let me show you the first piece of artwork. Oops, scroll down here. All right. I kind of wish that was under this. 1 second. All right, I think that's fine. Okay, so here you go. This is This is Grix. He is one of the deities, a massive four-winged black dragon with a fiery branded eye mask, who is trapped in a dimensional prison because of his crimes against all of the other deities, as well as the land that they govern. So pretty cool. I really like this artwork a lot. Kind of shows his mass and scale. And a little bit about some of the quality you can expect from the art that'll be in the book. This would be a full-page insert. So you can expect to see that in there somewhere. But really cool, and obviously paying homage a little bit to Tabletop with the fiery eye mask, and you'll catch a few things like that as you're looking through stuff where, you know, I pay a little homage to the people who gave me the platform to do this. So really cool, and his backstory is really fun too. The art really is enhanced by reading the lore. You're going to want to read the lore. And we've got more that I'm going to show you, including some new ones you haven't seen yet. I have shown that one in the past, but not too often that I get to show it on full display like that for you. And we do have the watermarks on there, but you should still be able to see how that's working. All right, so let's see. Nozaku Boy, who is proofreading and providing feedback on your system draft? Well, I don't have the editor hired just yet. Right now, I'm kind of working on it myself. But yeah, I will be paying an editor to do that. Also, through the playtests, through you guys as well. I had somebody doing editing with me, but they had life things come up. One of the things that I had mentioned might change over time. That's one of them. But yeah, I'll have somebody editing as well. But right now, it's me doing that. So I am both writing and then going back and proofreading and editing everything. And Sevi generously also offers to help me look at things too. And she knows how to look at some things and find errors, that is for sure. She has a sharp eye. God damn it, these questions. Will all dungeons in Legend Seeker be wheelchair friendly? Nope. In fact, if you take a wheelchair into a dungeon, you're probably hosed. Let's see. Brimstone, is it a homemade system? I actually did answer that one already. Okay. How OP will the Queen class be? There's not going to be a Queen class. I'll tell you what, the Queen class will be on page 36, and there won't be a page 36. When are the gold subscribers getting the description of the magic system? So yes, that is one of the things. I'm going to be announcing some dates today. You're going to like to hear that, and that is one of them. And that comes with a little bit of change of philosophy. So I'm learning that doing big things all at once is very difficult, so doing it bite-sized is better. So I'm going to be releasing the general rules of the magic system as kind of one chunk, and then I'll be releasing spells over time so you can see how they work. But hey, we could talk about that right now a little bit. What does the magic system look like in Legend Seeker? Well, the first thing you should know about the magic system in Legend Seeker is the mana stream, which is where all the source of magic comes from in the system, is not some lifeless magical source of energy that people just pull from willy-nilly. It is a almost living conscious thing. It is something that seems to have a will of its own, and that will isn't necessarily good. You can tap into it through various means, and when you do, if you do it safely, if you do it correctly, if you channel it through instruments rather than your person, you can do so with reasonable success and do a great many things without any real danger to yourself. But overindulge, tap into it too deeply, or try to channel it through your own being, or allow your emotions to become too raw when channeling the magic, and you can start to become corrupted. And once you become too corrupted, you no longer are yourself. You become a puppet of the mana stream. You become what is called true evil. And the will of the mana stream is very destructive, and people who fall that deeply into its sway tend to be exactly the same way. So magic is dangerous. It's not something to be toyed with or done trivially. Now, in terms of a system, the way it's going to work, I'm going for an approach in this system. Instead of having 9 tiers of spells that you don't get access to until the very end of the game, and they just get, more insane and more insane and more insane, and then your smaller spells feel more obsolete and more obsolete and more obsolete, there's going to be more like 4 tiers of spells in this game, and those spells level and grow with you. So, for example, let's just take a spell such as Counterspell. Okay, we all know and love it, especially Disparu. Counterspell in this game does what you would expect. Somebody casts a spell, you want to counter it. But your ability to counter it isn't based on you just casting the spell or what spell slot you use. It is based on your actual skill as a caster. So spells in this game will have tiered rolls. So for example, you roll your d20. You use your spell casting attack modifier. Well, I guess in this case it would just be a spell casting roll. And you get a 10, okay? That 10 is actually too low to even successfully have cast the spell. But let's say you get to the 12, all right? At 12, you're able to cast Counterspell. And with that level of Counterspell, with you hitting a 12, you could successfully counter a spell of, say, tier 1 or lower. If you get a 15, all right, now your spell's so strong that you could counter a spell of tier 2 or lower. If you get up to a 20, it would be tier 3 or lower. If you get to a 25, it would be tier 4 or lower. So when you find yourself facing a more powerful spell, a tier 4 spell, you need to actually roll higher. You need to be skilled enough to actually do it. You can't just use some random spell slot, for example. And this is going to be true for like all of the spells. Fireball will work the same way. At first, you're going to have a fireball that does a decent amount of damage, has a decent area effect, but as you play the game, the spells grow with you as your skill grows. Your fireballs are now bigger. They do more damage. So they remain useful and relevant the entire game. Also, I did something wrong. Let me respond to that real quick. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. All right, so it looks like we're gonna have to play a little bit of a game here. Here we go. Copy. Okay. This is not what I really wanted to do here, but we're gonna go plus browser dono 2 Kermit 2. Okay. That one's not capturing it either, Sevs. If they're sending them over there. If they're super chatting to tabletop, it's not going to pick up on that one because that's for Moonskull. It's tied to Moonskull. All right, for now I'll just I'll move that there. Shit. Okay. I don't know why those look different. Sorry. I'll fix this one though and move it over. Just, god damn it. Can you just let me move this? Thank you. All right, there we go. All right, so if you use the Streamlabs link, or you use the super chat option on Moonskull, because those are the only donations that'll count towards the Kermit Fund, it'll update one of these bars. I don't know why it won't track both. We have to have two unique ones, apparently. Either way, you'll see tips fall in the tip jar. That's fun. What was I saying before I hopped right into that, though? God damn it, I'm going to forget now. Oh, spells. So instead of having spell slots, you're going to get spells that are kind of single picks. So, for example, instead of having 4 spell slots, you got 4 spells in them. When you level up or you take the bonus feats that are going to allow you to, or the bonus edges that allow you to take more spells, you're going to get individual copies of those spells. And so when you're in combat, it's going to be a lot swifter. It's almost like having a hand of cards. Think of like playing Magic the Gathering or something. So you got a spell suite, and you play your spell, and that spell fires off and it gets discarded. And after an X amount of time, usually 10 minutes, or I'm sorry, 1 minute, that spell will come back into your suite. It refreshes. Or if you roll a natural 20, all the spells that you've already used refresh to your hand. So you could pick multiple copies of a spell. So if you just want to be a pyrotechnic, you could have nothing but fucking fireballs and just throw fireballs all day, or you can mix and match, and then there'll be talents that allow you to do things to get them back and recycle them, or even swap them out with other things. It'll be very interesting. But you'll get to see the breakdown of that as a gold member here very soon. You can already read the lore behind magic and how it works if you are a member on Gilded. I could read a little bit of that for you, perhaps even. Let me see how long it is. I don't want to go too long on this stream today, so no, I'll have to close this chat if I do that. I'll wait on that. Let me read some more questions. Does the game... Okay, I did that one. Kind of like the envoy or a non-caster bard. Is that in reference to the noble? Yeah, probably closer to an envoy. You'll be able to build in different ways how you want your noble to operate, and I'm not going to talk too much about what those builds are just yet, but it'll be things like you could have one who's built on leading from the front, for example, and while in combat, whenever your noble successfully hits something, it inspires and gives bonuses to your allies, or maybe you give a rallying cry that gives them a temporary HP, or you might have a different tree where you're more of a notorious noble who has a wicked reputation, one that precedes you, and so perhaps you have more of a demoralizing approach and you're debuffing the enemy instead. Your war cry makes all of their stats go down, for example. Maybe they're a little bit shaken and they're having a harder time hitting because you scared the shit out of them, or maybe you have the ability to force people into surrender when the odds are against them. Those are the kind of abilities excuse me, that you would expect from something like a noble, but also they have lots of really good applications outside of combat as well. Okay, let's see. Gold from Aiden. What does that mean? Does that mean he just went gold, Sevs? Tell me in Discord DMs. If you were to do a multi-class, would you do it just for fun or to gain some features in D&D? What campaign do you... Oh, okay. These are from... We did this in an AMA already. We did this as an AMA. Never mind. I understand what this is. All right. Hayden75. Erudi, can you talk to us about the magic system and how it's going to work? The lore behind it? Okay, I just did that. So, amazing. I knew your question before you asked it. Incredible. Dave wanted the monk red, not the noble. I decided to go with the noble. It was a little bit of a more unique class that I don't know what people, if they know quite what to expect from it. You kind of know what to expect from a monk, even a monk that has psionic superpowers. Not everybody knows what to expect from a noble class. What does that look like? If you've played something like Starfinder, you might have an idea because you've played something like an Envoy. But not everybody has played a system that has a face-built class that is built to kind of support the party that way. A lot of classes just kind of build that in other classes like the Bard or the Rogue or the Paladin gets some sort of like inspirational buff or something. This class is all about being a support class that really carries the party through things, really enhancing their ability to accomplish things better than they would have otherwise. Let's see. I did get Ormans. Any new original player races? I will tell you about the Soulforged, one of the original races here very shortly. DCV Titan for $5. Will you have rules for handling large-scale warfare that the heroes can take part in or have it take place in the background? Certainly, there will be some, not in the core rulebook, but in the Keeper's Tome, there will be a section on that. How involved it will be, not entirely sure. Taking that into like a bigger scale and really making like a war games rule set type thing would probably be something for like a later book. But yeah, the Keeper's Tome will at least have some rules for, hey, how do you handle large scale combat in a quick and efficient manner? And what are the rules for that? By the way, sorry, I've got the flu that YouTube doesn't like, and I am getting over that. Darth Dave, does this allow for more so-called multi-subclassing because you are using level trees? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Does this allow for more so-called multi-subclassing? So there's not going to be... It's not going to be like 5e, where once you hit level 3, you pick a subclass, and then you're locked into that. You're going to have various trees of skills that are associated with your class. You can devote yourself to entire trees if you want, or you can mix and match, but basically you're kind of building your own subclass, is what you're doing when you're doing this. Now for multi-classing, specifically, yeah, you can multi-class different classes. The only rule that I currently have in Legend Seeker as a restriction is you can't multi-class into more than one spellcasting class. So a druid and a wizard can't multi-class together because they are both spellcasting classes, and the sources of how their magic work are different, and that matters a lot in Legend Seeker. Something else that matters a lot in Legend Seeker is what your class is. It's not an obscure name that you just rebrand into whatever you want. It actually means something in the world and in the system to be a paladin. It means something to be a noble. So taking the noble class but being a lion tamer that's good at inspiring lions is not... It's a little weird because the classes come with them some very heavy weight and lore implications that will matter within the system world. Something else that matters is alignment. Being good and evil and in between are things that are actively measured in Legend Seeker. And certain things could be spells, could be abilities, could be deities, could be locations, could be items, traps. Those things will care about what your alignment is. Same with some monsters and things like that. So yeah, a lot of the things that 5e is trying to strip away, I'm putting back in and making them even more important than they used to be and actually have some sort of weight. Like, I don't know, it should kind of matter if you're going to some, like, holy protected sanctuary that's been divinely enchanted by the gods, and you're a filthy, sinister, evil motherfucker. Like, that should have some mechanical effect. one way or the other. Maybe you're slightly weakened going in there, or maybe there are traps specifically guarded against evil people like you. So that is, I really want that to be a core component of what Legend Seeker is. I saw Darth Dave clarifying something. Hey, what's up, Epic Mike? Good to see you here. Hey, we're going to be showing off that mock-up cover art I showed you, Mike. You think they're going to like it? Let them know. Yeah, the idea is the multi-class between two different types of bard, but in Legend Seeker you can take skills at those different subclasses. Yeah, because you can't do that in 5e, right? If you're a bard, once you take your subclass, you can't multi-class in a bard again and do the other subclass. It just doesn't work. Well, Mike, if you'd like to see me in a Kermit outfit, you can donate to the Streamlabs link over for Moonskull. Maybe you get to see me in an outfit too. Maybe that'll make you happy. Mike says, hell yeah, on the cover. Yeah. Orman, will choosing the right class for races matter? No, I got a little ahead. I should stick to the questioning that my mods are doing for me, but I'll go ahead and answer this one. Sure, because unlike 5e, stats on races in my system aren't going to be fungible, okay? If you are, I'm not saying these are playable races, okay? But if you were a fucking ogre, okay, and somebody else is playing a fucking goblin, I don't care what those woke idiots try to tell you. There's no universe, period, where a goblin is going to be stronger than an ogre. It's just not going to happen. So it's so dumb that their opinion is that you should be able to like give +4 strength randomly to a goblin and not to the ogre. It's stupid. It's stupid. So no, my races in this game will have established stats, and of course that's going to make them more better or less better for certain classes. But I'll give you the same spiel I gave everybody for that. It doesn't matter if you want to play a certain race in a certain class, unless you're just really like stuck on min-maxing the hell out of your character and there's no other mindset you can get into. Don't worry about it. It's 2 points, man. It's typically like 2 points. If you want to play a different race because it's a better story, it's worth sacrificing those 2 points and being 1% less effective. I mean, what's 1%? But yeah, there will be optimizable builds, obviously, based on the races you pick. Tentacle Father, what kind of unique races can we expect? I'm getting a lot of that one. I'm going to talk about the Soul Forge. Do you have one uniquely to your setting? That was Orman. If there's dragons in this game, what different types will there be? There will be dragons. There will be dragons. And there will be many types. I'm not going to discuss them here just yet. Craigslist girls don't smell like chrysanthemums. No, I don't want a corset. God damn it. Moss, member for 6 months. Sorry, Geeks Gamers Tabletop, I just got here, but I'm curious as to what the action economy looks like in Legend Seeker. The action economy in Legend Seeker is going to be my own take on like a 3-action economy. It's not going to be broken down into action types the way that 5e is. You're going to be able to do 3 things in your turn. You get to pick what those 3 things are. And that's the bottom line of it. And some things, if they are very difficult things to do, if you try to do those multiple times in a turn, it becomes more difficult to do. You can still do them, but there'll be penalties applied to each attempt to do it. So everything will be 3-action economy. And of course, there'll be feats that you can take to kind of offset those penalties too, if you want to specialize one way or another. Or your subclasses might even have little talents or whatever that you could use to also offset sort of things. So you could build towards being able to do things that are normally more difficult. And then, yeah, you'll get to move. And one thing I won't be doing that some of the older systems did, it's still going to be free movement. It's not going to be, if you stop moving, you don't get to move anymore. If you have a certain amount of movement, you get to use it in that turn. That keeps it very simple. Why not? Oh, this is Nozeku. Why not a concept system instead of a class system? I like classes. I like having those roles and identities. I think it's easier for players to get into, especially people who are newer to tabletop, when they can pick a class like they do in other games and it has an identity. They kind of know what their purpose is and they can build and learn around that purpose, and then they can learn and master the different classes. I like that kind of gameplay. I know people like the more Morrowind type thing where you could pick any skill in the universe and you just make this hodgepodge of a character and it turns out whatever. It's not really my style. I do like Savage Worlds and the way it handles it, but I've always really enjoyed class-based systems, and that's what I wanted to build. Will there be magical dragons? Will there be dumb dragons? Yes, there will be both, King Darth Dave. Are there going to be Fallister? Shira says, are there going to be Fallister Easter eggs in it? Sure. I'm sure you will find some Fallister Easter eggs. Speaking of, well, let's look at some art. You want to see some more art, guys? I'll show you some. Let's see. So this one here is I might even show you two, actually. This one here is going to be a little homage to a dear friend, and a little homage to Advanced Geeks and Gamers, our first campaign. You might recognize this lovable furry monster. Yes, it's a Canadian bear. Now, it's not actually Canadian, as in Canadin. It's going to be from a realm in my universe called Nadia, which is Kay. God damn it, I just misspelled my own fucking name. I'm so goddamn loopy right now. Kaynadia. And it's a lovable flannel looking red bear with a leaf-like mask across its eyes. Very friendly, easygoing, lazy, just walks around being so nice, going rar, 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 and also has this magical aura that if you get near it, you feel kind of happy too. And you just want to go be lazy and roll around and be bear-like with them. So don't fail your save against them, or you might be roaming the woods for several weeks, acting like a Canadian bear. Oops. I'm happy. And then let me show you this one here. So this will be a new one. This one has not been shown before. And if you are a gold member, you're going to get to see this listed in your forum. This is one of the first monster artworks besides the Canadian bear that we have released. This is a dire locust. This is not a normal-sized bug. This thing is about the size of a horse. And it eats more than just crops. It'll eat you. Razor-barbed legs, a spiked carapace back, and an extremely long jump range. These things come in swarms, by the way. Chrysanth monster. Jesus. Oh, God. Oops. All right, let me get rid of that. So that one is new. You guys have not seen that one yet. That is a dire locust, and you'll get to deal with some of these things in a little adventure we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Self-insert? How am I a locust? I'm not a locust. Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea, Circus. All right, let's see. I did that one. But does it spill things in your car for the Canadian bear? Well, I suppose it could spill something in your carriage. And it most certainly would, too, if you got any honey or delectable goods sitting around in there. It's just a lovable Canadian bear. It wants to go have some food. Let it in. Oh, yeah, Mike, I don't even think you've seen that one yet. I don't think you've seen that one yet. Are classes ordained by the gods at birth? No. Your character would just be a class. It's sort of like, think of classes, the way I think of classes, everybody else is, whatever. They're a commoner, that sort of thing. And then you got the people who are heroes. You're just, your class is a type of hero. You're exceptional and you're beyond, and you have some sort of status in the world. Like a druid is a specific thing. It is a cleric of nature, essentially, a warden of nature who has a connection to nature, who connects with it and can bond with it and can mimic it. And that is something that is different about my druids, by the way. Wild shape is not strictly turning into an animal, it is mimicking it, and you're going to have, it's not going to be something like it is now where you have to have your DM drag in like 15 different stat blocks. There's going to be a core stat blocks for the druid's transformation shape and a bunch of optional features that you can build out your creature with. And as you become a more powerful druid, you get access to more and more of those features at one time, so you can make more complex creatures. So you're imitating the creatures more so than you are turning into them. But the idea is, as you become more of a powerful druid, you're able to imitate them more realistically and imitate bigger and more complex creatures. I don't actually remember what I was stemming that off of, though. And a paladin is obviously a warrior that has been divined by a god. In that case, yeah, you are kind of being ordained by a god, aren't you? You're a chosen champion of a deity, and you're serving in your order and seeing their will done. If you're a noble, you have some sort of leadership role. Your character comes from... You're not starting out as a commoner, you're starting out as someone who has an established thing. That is what the noble class is. You're coming from some sort of royal or merchant bloodline or criminal bloodline or something where you have influence and power. That's why you are the noble class. A warrior. You are a warrior. You are built for war in battle, and you have trained your life for it. That is what these classes are. And then you'll be able to multi-class in different ways, but the key point to multi-classing is to build to what are going to be advanced classes, so that you're not just a random hodgepodge of things. It could actually mean something. So, for example, you might take... you might take the warrior class and mix it with the ranger class, right? And by combining those skills together, come together, and maybe there's a bounty hunter prestige class that is specialized in being somebody who tracks people and knows their victims, studies their victims, and what have you, setting traps for them and that sort of thing, while also being really good at combat. But it's more of a specialized, honed-in thing. You're specializing in like a particular aspect of those classes combined together that blend well together. So that's what those advanced classes are supposed to be about. Let's see. No, there's no flower or chicken monster. Man of War 665. So will there be a quick start PDF for mechanics such as done with game launches for games such as Shadow Dark, Crown Skull, etc.? Yeah, so there's going to be, when we get to the playtest period, there'll be kind of a quick start PDF that is going to have like the core of the rules without all the fluff. And we're going to have a little mini adventure. It'll be a short little like, hey, you can play the first few levels sort of thing to test it out and see how the game flows and see how the early mechanics work. So yeah, there'll definitely be kind of a condensed guide, if you will. Will Legend Seeker have abilities and features that are useful in socializing and non-combat? Yeah, certainly. There will be feats and bonus feats and edges and talents and things like that that you'll be able to do to be useful outside of there. Obviously, you're going to have skills that are outside of combat. So in classes like the Noble, for example, will excel at a lot of those things too. You'll get access to more of the skills. You'll have higher bonuses in them. And when you take certain talents, you might have better influence on certain types of creatures or certain factions, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, obviously, exploration is always a big thing, and combat is a big thing, storytelling, and then social. Those are all pillars of the game, and your classes will be able to interact with all of those. And some will do better in others. Got it, Sevs. Okay, so then I did get the one from Sketchosaurus Rex. How many classes in the core? Jerry, does the game have an implied setting or explicit setting? I got that one as well. I got DCV Titans, Chrysanth. And I got Darth Dave's Len Green. All right, so it looks like I got all of those. How do you handle long distance travel? There will be a section on long distance travel and how to handle it. It's going to be a bit of up to the DM kind of thing, right? Now, how will I handle that in like an adventure module? That's a totally different story. But this book isn't so much going to give you just one way to do things. Obviously, combat, there's one way to do things. These are the rules for combat. But for long distance travel, you could just hand wave it if you're the DM. We'll have a quick travel rule section where if you want to integrate travel into the game, but you don't want it to be like bogged down, but you do want something. So there'll be like a quick mechanic version of it. And then there'll be the more traditional, okay, we're going to go day by this, and here's some random encounter tables approach as well. All right, we are caught up on questions. That is awesome. So I suppose I can show you some more art then. If we're caught up on questions, I mean, why not? So here, check out this one, which gives me the shivers. This is a crystalline spider. It's a creature made legitimately from crystal. Arcanely enchanted and brought to life, these creatures spin an incredibly strong thread that can be used to bind even the largest and most fearsome of creatures, restraining them against their will and leaving them for these creatures' masters to find. Which does beg the question, who are these creatures' masters? I'll be sending one of these to Chrysanth and Michaela's house. Taking bets on how many streams it takes for Sevi to break the game? God. She doesn't even need to break the game. She just, as long as I put this on a VTT, she'll win because the dice always favor her. And you know what? I'm going to show you a little something else here. So the artist who is doing our cover art, she is phenomenal. And this some sample of her sketch work as we have been going through and coming up with ideas for things. This is kind of the art style that she has been doing here, and you can see that she's very detailed. It's got a nice sort of old school tabletop feel to it while still looking good. very detailed, catches a lot of character and whatnot. She also did the cover art, and you'll recognize these characters here in just a moment. On that short little adventure I told you about. This was the final cover art on that adventure, so you can see. I wish I could zoom in a little better on this. Unfortunately, this is a full-page cover, so it doesn't work too well on a widescreen. But the colors are really, really fucking good. And hey, Mike, you might recognize that guy over there with the lantern looking over the dwarf's shoulder. Maybe you do, chat. I'm not sure. Anybody remember Erudi the Breaker? That's him. And you can see that these characters are looking over a map, and Kika down here is changing this dwarf's foot into a frog because she's a prankster. The statue back here of the god Nye is holding its golden bowl, and behind it some velociraptors, another monster I guess that is being revealed now, are emerging from their hiding place in the caverns beyond. You recognize Sevi? Yes, those are the nuggets of Nye. That is correct. If you watch Advanced Geeks and Gamers, this is going to be sort of our version, I think funnier, of something similar to, I don't know, like a deck of many things or something. The nuggets of Nye. The legendary golden nuggets themselves of the gods that when consumed could grant wishes or bring misery. We're going to put that art poll up for a week, I think. We'll have that up. Yes, the velociraptors. That is the name. And the reason I wanted to show her artwork in that cover is because she is now the one who's going to be doing the actual core book artwork. Originally, I said it was going to be Justin Gerard. As I mentioned before, he got a house fire, and that put him behind months, like something like 9 or 10 months on his work, maybe more, who knows. And he no longer could commit to the task because of that happening, and I can't fault him for that. If your house catches on fire, what are you gonna fucking do? But she's really good. So the woman who did that art is apprentices to Justin Gerard. So she has, and if you're not familiar with him, his art's fucking phenomenal. He does a lot of work on The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and things like that. He does artwork for that. He's got this really good old-timey storybook looking art. I love his art. But she's really good, and so we're gonna go ahead and show you the cover, I think. So let me get this up. So what I'm about to show you is the mock-up cover of what is going to be the core rulebook, the Seeker's rulebook. Oh, look at that. We got some more tips in the tip jar. And it is just the black and white mock-up. It's not the full color, but it'll give you an idea of what the quality of artwork might be like. Now, again, harken back to the cover I just showed you and what the colors and dynamics looked like on that, and that's going to give you a really good idea of how sick this cover is going to look. So without further ado, check out the mock-up of the Legend Seeker cover. So there you are. You can see we've got our party of heroes. They're in the center defending themselves up against a cave full of wormlings and one ferocious dragon who currently is emerging from underneath a molten waterfall using his wings to shield himself from the damage of that lava imperviously. As our heroes flee from the dwarven fortress they were just trying to raid. That is not a language, that is just placeholder text. But, yeah. What do you guys think? And this is just the mock-up. This is just the black and white before she's put the detail in and added the color. It is going to be insane. Trying to convince her to do a live stream where maybe she does work on the cover live, but she's never done anything like that before, so she's a little nervous about that. I don't know if she wants to do it or not. I know Justin has, and so she's asking him for some advice on that. So if she decides to do it, we'll probably make that a maybe a member stream. So if you happen to be a member, it's something you can watch. Maybe it is Latin. I have no idea. It's just placeholder text. Probably pulled from whatever the fuck she used to mock this up. But yeah, that is the current mock-up of the cover. We do have some alternative logos. So you might notice the logo has changed slightly. The hooded man is going away because he was taking up too much retail space on the covers, and there just wasn't any way to make it look right. So we opted to take him off and have an unseen person holding the book open in this version of the logo. And there is a second version of the logo as well that's a little bit wider and thinner. And that's what you'll be voting on over in Gilded. I will have that up here in a bit. But you'll be able to vote between the two different styles of logo on the cover and which one you think's better. So there you go. There you go. Let me take that down. There you go. Yeah, that text will eventually be filled with things that actually describe the system and the book. But yeah, that is a preview glance of what the cover is going to look like, and as the detail gets filled in and the characters are what they're doing and their actions are a little bit more telegraphed, it's going to look even more sick, that is for sure. Let's see. Orman, I may be wrong, but I think the Soul Forge had been mentioned in a previous AMA. Would you be able to give us this name of another new player race? Not at the moment. Currently, the Soul Forge is the only one I'm willing to talk about at the moment. Will there be digital tools? I certainly would like there to be. When we get closer to the launch of this thing and we do our actual campaign launch, we're going to have some stretch goals, and if we hit some of those goals, it is possible that we might get Foundry programming done through the same people, actually, that did the programming for the Savage Worlds Foundry system. And they did a pretty damn good job, I'd say. Hayden75 says, Erudi, my girlfriend just started a D&D game and is playing as a druid. Can you talk a bit more about the druid class, some of the skills, and how the druid will play in Legend Seeker? I don't want to dive too much into it, but I can tell you one of the things that I found the most problematic about druids in 5e is they are cumbersome and really bog down the game if they decide to go routes where they're turning into things or summoning animals, which, let's face it, if you're being a druid, are things you probably really want to do. And so the goal of this system is to streamline that and make that a lot simpler. Less work on the DM having to dig through books, in the VTTs, making tokens on the fly, and just bulking up the turn order to the point where the game gets bogged down, really trying to limit that. So I have some plans on how to handle that in place. I'm not going to talk about the summoning side of it yet, but I will say for the side where you're wild shaping, as they would call it in D&D, you're basically going to have a core form, and you're going to have abilities that, like a list of abilities. So early on as a druid, you might have a list of like a swimming speed, a climbing speed, I don't know, blind sense 10 feet, something like pack tactics. I'm listing things that are from 5e, so you have ideas. Web walking and a few other things, just a list of like different things that various creatures out there could have. And so you basically are going to have your stat block, and you're going to have at like whatever level of druid you are, maybe you get to pick 2. So early on, you get to pick 2 things out of that list put them on your stat block, and then you're going to just tell the DM, hey, this is what creature I am. So I'm trying to emulate, not perfectly, because you're still an early druid and you're learning to imitate and live life, mimic the life of the wild, not truly manifesting the ability to be it. So just be able to be like, hey, I'm trying to be a crab, all right? And you've put like some hardened ability on yourself and the ability to swim. So that's what that'll kind of look like. And I'll tell you what, I'll read you a little bit from the druid class as well, just a little bit. All right, I read the ones from Lynn Green, Spilling in the Car, Flower Chicken Monster War Game. Royal Romulan, will I be able to play an attack helicopter? Not as a class, but you know what? You can identify as one. Our class is tailored to the different races. We did that one from Jerry. I answered that earlier. The classes aren't tailored to races, but obviously some races' stats will make them better suited for certain classes than others. Jordan Crow, I sent you a top secret message on Discord. Oh, well, that's nice. Let me see. Oh, that's thank you. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. All right. So I got those questions. All right, so real quick, let me go into a little bit of lore. There's not going to be too much left of this stream, ladies and gentlemen, so I am going to... let's see, we're going to go back to the lore, and you asked about the druid. I'll read the druid one. That'll be the last class one I'm going to read. If you want to see the rest, you'll need to get a subscription over at Gilded. In a dense forest, a wise and enigmatic elf druid finds herself face to face with a rampaging pack of timberwolves. With a deep connection to the natural world, she raises her hands, calling upon the primal forces that flow through her veins. Leaves rustle and winds stir. She whispers ancient incantations, invoking the spirits of the forest. The once ferocious predators pause, sensing the power that emanates from the elf's very essence. As they become entranced by her harmonious melodies and soothing aura, they gradually lower their snarling muzzles, their aggression pacified. In harmony with nature, the elf druid has brought balance to the untamed wilderness and ensured the safety of her companions. Beneath the roots of an ancient tree, a sturdy dwarven druid unearths a hidden grove plagued by an infestation of corrupted vines. His connection to the earth runs deep, and he taps into its life-giving energy. Drawing strength from the stone beneath his feet, the dwarf channels his inner power, causing the very ground to tremble. The earth responds to his call, shattering the darkened vines and purging the corruption that has taken hold. As the sunlight filters through the renewed canopy, the grove once again thrives with vibrant life. The dwarven druid has cleansed the blight and restored natural balance. Amidst the arid wastelands, a nomadic half-orc druid stands resolute against the relentless sandstorm. With eyes glowing with an inner fire, she raises her hands to the heavens, beseeching the primordial spirits of wind and sand for guidance. The very air seems to respond to her plea, and the raging tempest hesitates as if captivated by her presence. With a commanding gesture, she harnesses the transformative power of her druidic magic, and her body morphs and shifts, adopting the form of a majestic desert falcon. As the sandstorm rages on, the half-orc druid takes to the skies, soaring above the chaos with grace and agility in her avian form. With keen eyes and razor-sharp talons, she navigates the treacherous winds and guides her companions to safety from above. Druids embody the harmony between mortal beings and the natural world, drawing upon the raw power of the elements and the wisdom of the wilderness. They come from diverse backgrounds and races, ranging from the mystical elves to the sturdy dwarves and even the resilient half-orcs. These primordial spellcasters possess a deep bond with the natural order, shaping and channeling its forces to protect, heal, and restore. Druids find themselves entrusted with the sacred duty of preserving the delicate equilibrium of the natural world. They navigate the shifting landscapes seeking out troubled realms and confronting the threats that disrupt harmony. When their spells and abilities, with their spells and abilities rooted in the fundamental forces of nature, they possess the knowledge and insight to mend what is broken and restore what is lost. Be it quelling the wrath of enraged beasts, purging the blight that taints the land, or navigating treacherous terrains, druids are the guardians of balance, ensuring that the natural order endures. Through their deep connection with primal forces, druids can tap into the transformative power of shape-shifting, allowing them to assume the forms of beasts, drawing strength and guidance from the creatures they emulate. In the realm of adventure, where the forces of civilization and wilderness collide, druids stand as steadfast conduits between the mortal realm and the untamed forces of nature, their very presence serving as a reminder of the sacred interconnectedness that binds all living things. So that is druids, and then somebody was asking about something else. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Soulforged. It's a little difficult without reading the entire history to you guys, but here's the idea, okay? There was something called the God Killer War. The deities that oversee this realm, which for right now we are using the code name Erudia. Don't laugh. Damn. Oh, wow. Okay. Shit, what was I saying? There was one of these deities. His name is Grix. I showed him to you. Because of a prophecy that he heard from one of the other deities, has always felt like the gods were handicapping themselves, that they should be more powerful, that they were not doing enough, and he was always seeking more answers and more power, trying to find out who the keepers are, this knowledge that's been kept from them by the four core gods. And he also has a fascination with one of the core gods' daughters named Senna, and has a fleeting romance with her as well. To make a very long story short, tragedy strikes, and it causes Grix to go off the deep end, and he starts a war. And he doesn't start a war. He goes out and he finds a weapon through years of study and seeking knowledge and messing with things that he's not supposed to be messing with. He discovers a way to do something that's never been done before. He has discovered a weapon that allows you to kill a god. And he plans to use this basically to rule with an iron fist over the other deities. But because of the tragic event that happens that I'm not going to spoil here, they end up on opposite sides, and there is what is called the God Killer War. And there is a variety of shifting of alliances where Grix is always on one side. Some deities go back and forth between the two sides, and then there's a core group that are always on the other side. And during this, Grix goes to a small corner of Erudia where there is this population of people whose civilization has been dying out. They've been praying to the gods for answers, and they haven't been answered. And he offers them salvation by saying, I will give you immortal life, and I will give you forms that never age and die. All you have to do is swear fealty to me, and I will make this be. And he takes these golems that were made by Vulcan, one of the other gods, and he performs a ritual that binds the souls of these peoples into these lifeless husks. But unbeknownst to them, this also makes them his eternal, unwitting servants. And he uses them as soldiers. And in this God Killer War, a lot of things happen. In the long run, Grix loses, right? And when he loses, the elves and the other nations, but primarily the elves, find a way to break the binding, the chains that were allowing Grix to command the Soulforged. But they did not reverse what happened to the Soul Forged themselves. So these eternal souls have been trapped in the bodies of these golems for all time. And this race of people are called the Soul Forged. They have a very troubled past in history. Many of the other cultures don't like them because of what they symbolize and who they served under during the darker times. And they just want a place and purpose in the world and something to do with their restless wandering souls that no longer have a culture, no longer have a home, no longer have a purpose. So those are the Soul Forged. They're really cool, and they have their own variety of motivations. And one element of that story is the elves could have reversed it. They just chose not to because they felt like the Soul Forged earned their fate by agreeing to basically make that deal with Grix in the first place. Which was a bit of a dick thing for the elves to do, to be quite frank. But so those are the Soul Forged. They will be one of the playable races. And they'll have some unique characteristics of their own that I will talk about as we get closer to the time for revealing that sort of stuff. Certainly you could run a campaign sent during that setting. Sure. If you wanted to run a setting during the Godkiller War, of course you could. Now, the material I would be writing for these books is assuming that the Godkiller War has happened, and anything going forward would be post that. So if there are adventure modules and things like that, it'll be things that are well past that, and all of the things that were set in motion from the Godkiller War, as well as other conflicts and other histories, would set the stage for things you'll uncover and do in the other adventures. But maybe it could be something where there is a flashback campaign down the road or something. But needless to say, the story of the Godkiller War and of Grix himself will come into play at some point during the campaigns. And you can worship Grix or any of the other deities. There are multiple of them, and they are all very unique in their own way. But yeah, so if you go read the lore, there's a whole forum. Now, again, you got to at least be silver tier for this one. But the Godkiller War is broken into 3 parts, the entire history behind that, as well as all of the deities broken down. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 deities. Maybe. So there is going to be, it's a high tier damage type, okay, but there is a damage type that would eventually be able to damage gods. So gods are impervious. The whole thing about them was they couldn't be killed. Mortals could not kill them. They just had no way to do it, and they couldn't kill each other. Gods couldn't kill each other. They just had to deal with each other in their power struggles and what have you. But then Grix changed the game when he found this weapon, this energy that allowed him to kill gods. Ultimately, he got defeated, and he was imprisoned, and his weapon was they tried to trap that in there with him too. It didn't work out so well. That dimensional prison and that energy didn't mix, and some of that energy dispersed out into the world, and fragments of it can be found in hidden locations all across Erudia. So there are ways to get weapons that could ultimately damage gods. That is correct. But that would be like high tier stuff. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and I guess I could close out. How long is this? I could read about, let's see. I'll read you the entry on Grix. Actually, no, this is really long. I'm not going to read that. You guys can read it on Silver Tier if you'd like. And It'll be a lot of fun. The feedback I've gotten so far has been really good. And I'd love to hear your feedback too. So if you're interested, go to our Guilded. The mods will they'll drop a link for that, and you can become a member there. There's a copper tier for $5. It won't get you access to the lore, but it will get you access to the Legend Seeker area where you can chat with everybody and see the important announcement updates. And whenever we release big updates in there that'll be announced, it'll also get you access to Secrets and Lies and a bunch of other stuff in the server that are just bonus benefits. Silver tier will get you access to, right now, the lore for the Pantheon as well as the Godkiller War, and probably here soon the class flavor is probably going to get dropped down there as well for evaluation there. And then gold tier always gets access to everything first, including the play tests that will be coming up. Now, I did say there were going to be some hard dates coming up with a bit of a change to how I'm doing things, so I will go ahead and give one of those to you now. And I'm going to be announcing a few more of them in the actual Legend Seeker forum later tonight. But this one is the most concrete one I have because, well, I'm basically wrapped up on what I want to present. I'm just fine-tuning a few things. So we are looking at 17th of February. 17th of February is when I will be putting out the first section. I'll say this in a second. The first section on the magic system. So you get to see the rules and how the magic system works, what the spell suite looks like, how the corruption system works, which you can turn on and off, by the way. The corruption system is linked to the system in the fact that the mana stream is evil and corrupting. But you can turn that off for your homebrew, and you don't have to have that on there. And you get to see how that works, and then there'll be a few example spells. You'll get to see Counterspell, Fireball, and a few others to get an idea of what the power or what the spell cards look like, and what that tiered rule system that I'm designing would look like when compared to the spells that you know from other systems. So you get an idea of how it would work in this system and how spells will grow with you rather than you having to get Fireball and then get Greater Fireball and then get Greatest Fireball, or get Invisibility and get Greater Invisibility. No, instead, as you get more potent as a spellcaster, the spell you already have just gets better. So there you go. And then there is some system stuff. If you're a gold member, that's already been put in there. The magic lore has already been put in there. So if you want to read about the magic lore, it talks about what magic is in Legend Seeker, the wellspring of the magic known as the mana stream, and how it is a malevolent tide. It is not just a random energy you draw from. It has a will of its own, and it's dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, and even if you do. And also the mechanics for our critical hits is there as well, which are going to be different than the critical hits that you're probably used to. They're going to function a little bit differently, but if you want to read how those work, you'll find that there as well. So there you go. And somebody was asking what makes our monks a little bit more unique. Like I said, they've kind of got like sort of like psionic abilities and things like that, but it's not just random. So the monks in this setting, they're not just dedicated to wholeness of self. They also are dedicated, and they're sort of an order that it prides itself on understanding the balance of the mana stream and channeling it, and they do it in the most dangerous way possible through themselves. So these abilities, these monk abilities, are because they are channeling the mana stream directly through their bodies, which is the most dangerous way to do it with the highest risk. But because of that, their abilities have awesome destructive potential, and make their own bodies potent weapons. So there you go. Can I just get audio files listening Erudi to read these descriptions with emphasis? Oh man, not right now. Probably not. You guys really want to listen to me read that stuff? I mean, I would, I guess, but I'm definitely not going to do it now. Will the ability scores be like 5e? Right now, you can expect the standard 6 scores that you would expect in a D20 system. Currently, I don't plan to change that. But things are continually adjusting. I've already made several core changes to the way I originally thought I was going to do things based on how things have unfolded. Only question I have left. Oh, okay. I answered that one. All right. So the ability scores ones were answered. Oh, I just got something here. Oh, okay. I honor you. So whoever, you know who you are, who just messaged me that. You're welcome. But there you go. I think that basically wraps us up. Sevs, did I miss anything that I thought I was going to talk about today that we had discussed? I don't think so. Which one did I not get? I think I got them all. I don't know which one it is, Sevs. Which one? If you point it out to me, I'll answer it. I think I got them. I answered the one from Richard Frost, Warlock, from Lynn, from Roy the Romulan, and Darth Dave. Oh yeah, Nuggets. So that adventure I told you about, the short little adventure. You guys might remember an episode of Advanced Geeks and Gamers called "The Nuggets of Nya," in which Krista came in and played a goddess named Kika. Well, the short little adventure is going to let you go on that same adventure with Kika and get to fight alongside characters such as Erudi the Breaker, Chance. And some other characters as well that you might recognize, including Kika herself, as you go to find the Nuggets of Nya. So that'll be a fun little adventure for you to play through. I think I got the questions. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if she's delayed or if I'm missing one like an idiot. Chrysanth Nuggets? Chrysanth. Ooh, I should make an NPC named Chrysanth who's like obsessed with the Nuggets. She's like a cult fanatic over these Nuggets. You go into her house and there's like a dartboard with like strings attached to all this parchment of all her theories about the Nuggets and where to find them. Oh, that's a really good idea. Huh. Well, that's going to happen. All right. That's a wrap, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope I answered a lot of your questions and explained to you why I'm doing this and engaged your interest in that perhaps you will support us. And either way, when it's released, I hope you get to enjoy it and look forward to being able to play it for you on stream instead of D&D someday. All right, guys, take it easy, and I will talk to you later.